Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So this is chapter 10, verse number 12 and 13, about the opulence of the Absolute. That's where the book opens itself. Arjuna uvacha param brahma param dhamma pavitram paramam bhavam purusham shashvatam divyam adidevam ajam vikhum ahustvam risaya sarve devarshir naradastata asito devalo vyasa svayam chaiva bravishime Arjuna Vacha, Arjuna said, Param Supreme Brahma Truth, Param Supreme Hama Sustenance, Pavitram Pure, Paramam Supreme Bhavan, You, Purusham Personality, Shashvatam Original, Divyam Transcendental, Adideva, the original Lord, Ajam Unborn, Vigum Greatest, Ahu say, Tvam of You, Rishaya sages, Sarve all, Devarishi the sage among the demigods, Narada, Narada. Tata also, Asita, Asita, Devala, Devala, Vyasa, Vyasa, Swayam, personally, Cha also, Eva, certainly, Ravishi, you are explaining me, unto me. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Okay. Arjuna said, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You're eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyas confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me. Purport. In these two verses, the Supreme Lord gives a chance to the modern philosopher, for here it is clear that the Supreme is different from the individual soul. Arjuna, after hearing the essential 4 verses of Bhagavad Gita in this chapter, become completely free from all doubts and accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of God. He at once boldly declares, you are Param Brahma, the Supreme Personality of God. And previously, Krishna stated that he is the originator of everything and everyone. Every demigod and every human being is dependent on him. Men and demigods, out of ignorance, think that they are absolute and independent of the Supreme Personality of God. That ignorance is removed perfectly by the discharge of devotional service. This has already been explained in the previous verse by the Lord. Now, by His grace, Arjuna is accepting him as the supreme truth in concordance with the Vedic injunction. It is not that because Krishna is Arjuna's intimate friend, Arjuna is flattering him by calling him the Supreme Personality of God, the absolute truth. Whatever Arjuna says in these 2 verses is confirmed by Vedic truth. Vedic injunctions affirm that only one who takes to devotional service to the Supreme Lord can understand him, whereas others cannot. Each and every word of this verse spoken by Arjuna is confirming Vedic injunction. In the Kena Upanishad, it is stated that the Supreme Brahman is a rest for everything, and Krishna has already explained that everything is resting on him. The Mundaka Upanishad confirms that the Supreme Lord, in whom everything is resting, can be realized only by those who engage constantly in thinking of him. This constant thinking of Krishna is smarana, one of the methods of devotional service. It is only by devotional service to Krishna that one can understand his position and get rid of this material body. In the Vedas, the Supreme Lord is accepted as the purest of the pure. One who understands that Krishna is the purest of the pure can become purified from all sinful activities. One cannot be disinfected from sinful activities unless he surrenders unto the Supreme Lord. Arjuna's acceptance of Krishna as the Supreme Pure complies with the injunctions of Vedic literature. This is also confirmed by great personalities of whom Narada is a chief. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one should always meditate upon him and enjoy one's transcendental relationship with him. He is the Supreme Existence. He is free from bodily needs, birth, and death. Not only does Arjuna confirm this, but all the Vedic literatures, the Puranas and histories. In all Vedic literatures, Krishna is thus described as the Supreme Lord himself. The Supreme Lord himself also says in the 4th chapter, although I am unborn, I appear on this earth to establish religious principles. He is the supreme origin. He has no cause, for he is the cause of all causes, and everything is emanating from him. This perfect knowledge can be had by the grace of the Supreme Lord. Here Arjuna expresses himself through the grace of Krishna. If we want to understand Bhagavad Gita, we should accept the statements in these 2 verses. This is called the Parampara system, acceptance of the disciplic succession. Unless one is in the disciplic succession, he cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. It is not possible by so-called academic education. Unfortunately, those proud of their academic education, despite so much evidence in Vedic literatures, stick to their obstinate conviction that Krishna is an ordinary person. Om Again Tiran Sinanjana Sala Chakshuritam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Kankaruti Vachalam Gunagati Gimya Padam Mandir Sri Gunadinataram Paravananda Maharavam Sri Chaitanya. So it seems like most of the philosophy is actually condensed in this verse in purport as why should one accept Krishna as a supreme person? Well, one can do it by induction, by trying to reflect on what's the source, because obviously there is a source. One has to be very dull, and we can be dull at times, to see that there is no intelligence behind. Somehow or other, this world has a resemblance of the spiritual world. Yes, it's a reflection, but the things are there. So obviously there is someone, a prime mover, someone who actually has a sense of taste and a sense of humor and a sense of artistry and so on, because there are so many colors. If there was no God, yesterday we were walking, and it occurred to me that if there is no God, what's the point of, if there is no prime mover, what's the point of colors? What's the point of taste? What's the point of, everything will be gray and undifferentiated. If there was no creator, there was no someone who is actually appreciating the beauty. So this world is just a reflection, yet we can see the taste, the hand, the finger of a person, a supreme person, who is actually the prime mover. And even if you don't, Krishna says, if you don't believe me, the authorities, as Arjuna confirms, like Asita, Deva, Vyasa, Narada, these are great teachers, acharyas, and sages, and mahamunis. These are people who actually practice for thousands of years self-realization until they reach this conclusion. It's not the same thing to be a studious scholar and a practitioner, but to be an ignorant person. So these are the authorities in Vedic wisdom. There is also the Mahajans. There are 12 of them, and Narada is one of them. So these Mahajanayana Gatasapanta, these are the authorities that we have to rely upon to understand the truth. One cannot arrive to the truth by oneself. And also Krishna doesn't want it that way. That's why he sends a representative, the Guru, and also the sadhus, the saintly people, just to confirm that the Guru is not some isolated case. And the Shastra, the scriptures, which are the registered wisdom from sadhus and for sadhus, and from Guru and for Guru. So, in order to understand Krishna consciousness, in order to understand Krishna, one has to surrender. It's not easy. It's not easy for any of us. Some of us have been practicing for many decades Krishna consciousness. And it's not like one of these cheap religions that we see nowadays that you just sign some document. Yes, I am now a Mormon, I am this, I am that, and that's it. That's all you have to do. Krishna consciousness, every day, every minute of the day, every second of the day, you have to sign a contract. You don't get away with less than that. It's not like, I believe in Krishna, that's it. I don't have to do anything, I don't have to worry anymore. No, self-realization means you continue to improve. Spiritual life is not static. It's not one thing. And also, it's because it's in an upwards motion, in an incline. You cannot just feel comfortable and just stay there. Because either you're going up or you're sliding back. So you have to actually make progress. In your spiritual life, there is no, of course, this is not just, go to the mountain and see the view from the top and you're done, then you come back, with a souvenir. This is actually to get out of this condition. So it takes some effort. But that's what we want. We don't want it to be cheap. God is not cheap. Like let's say you want to buy a car. And then you go to a shop where they sell cars. and you look at a car and looks okay, and it has seats, an engine, has steering wheel, has gear shifts, and air conditioning and all that stuff. And when you ask, how much is it? Oh, it's 18 euros. You start suspecting, there's something wrong. Seriously? Yeah. What is it? It's a Bentley. A Bentley? Really? And how much? 18 euros. No, there is something wrong here. I mean, you would love to pay 18 euros and get a brand new Bentley, but it's not possible to get it for 18 euros. So, this is what it is. If you want the Bentley of gods, Krishna himself, then you have to pay. If they say, yeah, you can take God, how much is it? Oh, nothing, just sign here. Or, 18 euros, you donate 10 euros a month and then you get God. That's too easy. It's not the real one. I want the real one. Well, okay, you want Krishna? Then you have to completely peel off layers of your contaminated heart. It's like an onion. Although we don't eat it, we can use it as an analogy. And you peel all the dirty layers of your heart, where all the nasty stuff has been accumulated for many lifetimes. What are the six problems that the heart suffers? What are they? Can you name one? Lust. Greed. Let's go in order. Lust. What comes out of lust? Anger. Why is anger coming out of lust?
Madness.
We're not going that far yet. So, when lust is unsatisfied, then becomes anger, because you become upset that things don't go the way you want. Greed. You want stuff that you really don't need. Madness, because once you get into this cycle of lust, anger, greed, you go mad. You literally go mad. We were coming here and there was a guy talking to himself very loud, just madness, just, doesn't distinguish much from reality anymore. Illusion, very prevalent in this world. Illusion, there is what appears to be, but it isn't. There is no substance. Just like if there is a tree, an apple tree, right on the edge of a lake or a river, and you reach in the water to get one of the apples, because it seems like there is an apple there, and you grab it and it's just water. There's nothing. So this world is a little more complicated than that. You may try to grab whatever you think it is meant for you to enjoy, and this illusion vanishes right before your eyes. It may take a little while, but then you will realize, this is illusion. Even if you are satisfied at the moment, this won't satisfy you perennially. And we are eternal beings. We are not satisfied with just small things that will pacify us. It's like a baby that is crying and the mother, just gives him a pacifier, or just puts him up and down and the baby starts smiling. But she knows he's going to cry again anytime. So this is our life. We are pacified for a moment and then goes away. And what's the sixth one? Pride. Even Prabhupada said, even a pauper, a poor person, is proud of the penny they have. You can see people in America. You see a lot of homeless people, and they have these supermarket carts, full of junk. And if you come and try to take anything from that supermarket cart that they push, even though it's useless, most of it is garbage, they become very upset. This is mine, and this is my family, this is my house, these are my friends, this is my bead bag, don't dare touch my bead bag. Actually, I had a funny incident. I was giving a lecture in the Boston Temple many years ago, I did the kirtan and the Sunday lecture, and after the Sunday lecture, I was looking for my beads everywhere. Outside of the temple, there are some hooks. So everybody, when they go to the temple, they put their bead bag outside and put it on the hook. And I couldn't find it. Couldn't find it anywhere. What in the world is it? And then I saw an elder Indian gentleman chanting on my beads. So I said, "Excuse me, sir, those are my beads." "Yes, but you weren't using." So it's free. If you weren't using it, that's good enough. Just I said, "Yeah, I wasn't using it because I was doing kirtan and giving the lecture. I just couldn't chant at the same time. I don't have that skill. So it's okay. You can have it." No. Thank you. So even I was thinking, my bead bag, my beads. How dare they? But we don't have anything. As spiritual as they may seem, you cannot take your beads with you when you die. Even your beads. You've been chanting hundreds of thousands of names, and you die, and you have to leave the beads behind you. What are you going to do? Are you going to find a nice pair when you go back to Krishna? Yes, a nice pair of beads to chant. You're not going to need them. Because sadhana is for those who live in the material world. In the spiritual world, they don't practice sadhana bhakti. It's all raganuga. It's all spontaneous because they have Krishna there in front of them. So in this, there's so many things in this purpose. It's amazing. Prabhupada put so much. Prabhupada actually didn't know how long he was going to live. So he basically tried to put everything in one. He put so much in teachings of Lord Chaitanya. He basically summarized the 17 volumes of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. He made sure that even if you open the Bhagavad Gita anywhere, in any page, you will be Krishna conscious. There was an indication about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, about the goal of life, about we are not the body. It's everywhere. You can open Gita anywhere and you see that. So he was in a hurry. Also, he initiated so many disciples. I can't remember who it was, Baladeva Vijayabhushan or Vishwanath Chakravarti, I can't remember who it was, that said a spiritual master shouldn't have more than 5 disciples. And there you go, Prabhupada had between 5 and 10,000 because he was in a hurry. He gave actually sannyas to people that he knew that weren't going to last very long. They were going to give up the order of renunciation. He made temple president, people who couldn't manage themselves out of a bed. He actually made two devotees start a worldwide magazine the only relationship they had with a magazine is that they have read one in the past. That was it. So he was in a hurry. Prabhupada was in a hurry. He knew he was already older than everybody else and he was going to leave at any time. So he had to accelerate things. So that's why he packed every purport of the Bhagavad Gita with all the wisdom that you can muster. So there's so many points here. We'll just mention 1 or 2. There you go, that's better. It's a lot more comfortable this way. So Prabhupada said in these 2 verses, the Supreme Lord gives a chance to the modern philosopher. For here it is clear the Supreme is different from the individual soul. That is the beauty of Achintya Veda, where things are simultaneously one and different, like quantum physics. It's not just one linear, monodimensional thing. In this philosophy, we are God with a small g. Krishna is God with a big G. And we have in common divinity, but the quantity is different. Like we are a drop of the ocean or a cup out of the ocean. So we have the same qualities as the water of the ocean, but we are not the ocean. That's pretty simple. And Prabhupada said that the last snare of Maya is that you actually believe that you're God. So even when you're aspiring to practice spiritual life, you may, by dint of your false ego and poor intelligence and a disturbed mind, arrive to the wrong conclusion that you are God, that you are the Supreme. But it doesn't hold water, as you cannot be the Supreme Lord and forget that you are the Supreme Lord. That, if that's your situation, then you're not qualified to be God because you forgot. So even based on that detail, you can't be God. Just for the fact, even if you were God and you forgot, you're out of the competition. Yeah, just as simple as that. Arjuna had doubts. Arjuna was an intimate friend of Krishna, and he didn't have any doubts about Krishna, didn't have doubts about God. But Krishna, for the sake of people like us, decided to place him under temporary illusion. So when he arrived to this verse, Arjuna was already free from all these doubts and queries. And Arjuna said, "You are Param Brahma, the Supreme Personality of God." So Krishna told him that he was the origin of everything and everyone, and that every demigod, every human being is dependent on him. Anybody knows the verse? I think it's from the Svetasvatara Upanishad. Yeah? Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yovi Dadati Kama. So this verse says, Nityo Nityanam. There are many eternal beings. And Eko Bahunam. Eko means one. But there is one that is different from all the others, and is the one maintaining everybody else. So this is what is meant here, that one is the originator and is maintaining everybody. That is Krishna. So men and demigods, out of ignorance, think that they are absolute and independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That ignorance is removed perfectly by the discharge of devotional service. So we may think, so we're not independent. Even if we think we're independent, I'm doing my own thing. Krishna is very liberal, and he allows you to think, I'm cool, I'm fine, I do my own program. But no, you're depending on the laws of nature. You're depending on Krishna to fulfill it. There is another verse from the Gita, Mata Gyana Smriti Rapohanam Cha, where actually Krishna provides Jnana, knowledge, Smriti, remembrance, and Apohanam. Apohanam means forgetfulness. As you cannot even forget anything unless Krishna allows you to forget. And you may think, what that doesn't make any sense. No, because sometimes you suffer some traumatic events in your life, and you really don't want to have them constantly in your mind, because it will disturb you, it will alter your behavior. But Krishna, in Apohanam, makes you forget it by his kindness. And Krishna can only be understood through devotional service. Others cannot. Only by one who takes to devotional service, Krishna can be understood. So this is a method. This is the way to understand. Why? It's not that Krishna is lazy and doesn't want to do anything and wants us to do it, and therefore, you do something, you please Krishna, then you're okay. He will give you a little, a few crumbs for you to eat. No, this is because it's good for you, because devotional service is actually a form of currency. This is how you buy Krishna. This is the only thing that Krishna wants from you is devotion. Everything else he has, he doesn't need anything. But devotion from you, because you're an independent in the sense of very infinitesimally independent. Very, very, very small independence. Just like we flew from America and we're flying across Europe, and and when you're on the plane, you have certain independence. You can go to the bathroom, you can talk to the next passenger, you can read a book, you can take a nap, you can change seats. But there is one thing that you cannot do, which is to get off in midair. You cannot walk out of an airplane as an airplane is flying. So we do have a minute independence, but it's very small and it's constrained by the cycle of birth and death. So you can move around and do this, do that, but you're going to have to die. And you have to take another birth. And you have to grow old. You cannot stop old age. You cannot stop a disease. You may take a pill, but the disease will still be there. So this is the process of getting out, is to please Krishna through devotional service. Because devotional service cleanses your heart and is very attractive to Krishna. Krishna loves you, but he would like to see you in your original condition, as a pure lover, not as contaminated by lust, anger, greed, etc., etc. So Krishna will give you mukti, will give you liberation, will give you siddhi, mystic powers, will give you wealth, will give you relief from anything. He'll give you pretty much anything you want, but he's very careful to whom he gives devotional service. Because devotional service is close to his heart and he's going to conquer it. So if he gives you devotional service, it's because you earn it, because you deserve it. There are cases of mercy, but most of us will have to struggle and endeavor in order to get devotional service. And pure devotional service, not mixed. Mixed devotional service means you want something out of this transaction. Pure devotional service means you don't want anything. You just want to please Krishna. As the last verse of the Shikshamrita, Shikshasa, thank you, says, Ashishyava padarata pinashtamam, etc., etc., that my dear Lord Chaitanya, putting himself in a position of a devotee as he wanted it, says, you can embrace me, you can kick me, you can neglect me, you can forget about me, but that doesn't change anything. You are my worshipable Lord eternally. So this is our position. This is how we should pray. No matter what Krishna does to us, we should be loyal and never give up, because it's for our own good. Whatever he's doing to us is for our own good. Pavitram, the purest. Krishna is the purest. And one can become purified from all sinful activities by trying to understand Krishna, who is the purest of the pure. One should meditate on Krishna. Now this meditation is very difficult, because we have so many things on our mind that are flying around like birds, and it's difficult to see the picture. But by chanting the holy name, everything will come about. So if you don't take anything out of this little Bhagavad Gita class, or whatever they call it, then at least take the holy name with you and chant constantly. Try to chant as much as you can, and try to chant purely and with attention. And that will actually open the doors, and Krishna, his form, his name, his activities will come into your mind, and you will be able to actually fix your mind in Krishna and meditate on Krishna. And even though Krishna, since he's unborn, he appears on this earth to establish religious principles. Yada yada hidagmasya. Once in a while he shows up and reestablishes religious principles. This is for the benefit of everybody. Krishna doesn't have to do that. This is an insignificant universe among so many universes, but he still cares about us. And he shows up and he reestablished religious principles so we can go back to Godhead. So Prabhupada ends the purport saying, unfortunately, those proud of their academic education, despite so much evidence in Vedic literatures, stick to their obstinate conviction that Krishna is an ordinary person. So there's another verse, again, Prabhupada is in English, but he's definitely quoting from Mayaya Parita Jnana. The 4 types of people do not approach Krishna. One is the Mayaya Parita Jnana, those who acquire knowledge, but illusion covers them. So they know a lot of stuff that they really don't know anything. It's equivalent to falling into the ocean and being able to calculate the depth of the ocean, the amount of water, how many liters are in the ocean, and what's the distance between South Africa and Brazil. They can know so many things, but they only need to know one thing: how to swim. So this is a Mayaya Parita Jnana. You know so many things, but none of them is useful because you're drowning. So this is okay. I'll stop here before you. They say that one of the definitions of eloquence is that one should stop speaking before anybody else thinks one should. So I'll stop right there. Any questions or comments, please? I think the most difficult part of this will be to put back the chapters in order. Yeah. Any comments, Bruce? You want to say anything? This is your chance. Any chastisement that you have for me? Yeah. I'm an easy target. I'm sitting right in front of you now.
I was thinking, Prabhupada was in a hurry, but Prabhupada was also, I feel a little bit, why Prabhupada, he was in a hurry in one sense, but in another sense he was also transcendental. He was like, Krishna can do anything, and he did his best, but he was not like in the mood of passion or something. I don't think Prabhupada was in the mode of passion.
No, I didn't mean to say it that way. What I'm saying is that Prabhupada had very little to work with. It's like when you go to the kitchen and there's only potatoes and chickpeas, and you have to make a Sunday feast. It's difficult. It's difficult because you're missing ingredients. There are no spices, no other vegetables, no sweets, nothing like that. So Prabhupada was dealing with just potato heads. People were very thick, very contaminated by hippie philosophy, personalist philosophy, no philosophy. So he had to deal with very difficult conditions, and he wanted a society, a worldwide society established, and a respected society, not just some society. So he had to make concessions, a lot of concessions. But of course, Prabhupada was transcendental to all of that. He knew that Krishna's hand was behind all the effort. But I think he didn't know. He didn't know how long he was going to stay in the planet. And so he tried to do. That's why Prabhupada worked so hard. He went 12 times around the world. He woke up, went to sleep at 11, and woke up at 1:30 and started doing his purports and translations and purports. He obviously, if he knew that things were okay, he probably would have slept a few more hours and traveled less. He traveled because he needed to maintain all these disciples that were weak. Yeah.
Yeah, in one sense.
Anything else? Yeah.
What are the first steps to purify the heart from the 6 enemies, like pride, anger, and all this?
That's a good question. Do you want to answer that? Would you like to answer this? I have my opinion, but this Prabhu is senior to me, so I'm going to give him a chance to reply to you first. Yeah?
Can you please repeat the question?
What are the first steps to be taken to get rid of anger, lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, and pride?
Yeah. Srila Rupa Goswami lists 9 steps. And Adau Shraddha Tata Sadhusanga Tata Bhajana Kriya, those are the 3 first steps. So the first step is Adau Shraddha. First one should have a little faith in the process, and the faith that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should think, well, this could be possible. One should not think this is impossible from the beginning. So Adau Shraddha. Then the next step is Tata Sadhusanga. One has to join the association of devotees, sadhu sangha or sadhus, sadhus of holy people who follow a spiritual master. And in their association, one will gradually accept a spiritual master. This is bhajana kriya. Accept a spiritual master, get initiated, and then get further detailed instructions by the spiritual master. So those are the first 3 steps. It starts with Adau Shraddha. First, there should be little faith in the process. If you have done this, like he said, then there comes a higher taste. And you can only give up bad things if you have a higher taste. And the higher taste is just some revelation, some taste of Krishna, you feel some purification going on, and then you get this faith that this works, the process works. And then you go on and on and on. But it's like you don't get free from the bad taste if you don't have a higher taste. So you have to strive to pray to get this higher taste.
So you got a good answer there. I don't think I have much. So how do you get faith? Adau Shraddha. So how do you get faith? Because faith is a constant. Faith is always there. But the object of faith may change. So you have faith in one thing, and you may switch and have similar faith in something else. So the faith is established by sadhusanga, by associating with saintly people. I was reading from a Patramrita, the letters from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada's own spiritual master, and he said that in order to make advancement, you have to get rid of bad association. So bad association means people who don't have interest in spiritual life, or they're lackadaisical about spiritual life, they're not very serious, and it will happen to you if you. It's like a corroding. You know this word, corroding material, like acid. You see, acid corrodes iron and makes it rusty, makes it soft and brittle. So the association of people who do not practice spiritual life is like acid to your iron. It will corrode it. So you have to keep good association, and then your faith will become stronger. And also, as I was saying before, you have to take up the holy name, because without the holy name, there is no hope. This is the dharma for the age, is to chant the holy name as much as you can, as often as you can, as purely as you can. This is the boat that will take you back to Godhead. Without the holy name, there is nothing. And the holy name is everything. So these are the conditions. And as you progress, just like when you take some medicine and you have a fever, and you see that the fever goes down as the medicine acts, the holy name actually will diminish the fever of lust, anger, greed, and so on. The more you chant, the less the things will be weighing over your heart. Yeah. You have a follow-up there? No follow-up to that? And a question out
I
of
have
the
a lot
question.
of questions. I don't want to take time for
Well,
others, but
unless
it was
somebody's
a
in
good answer. So I try to follow the association and I try to say mantras. Maybe I want this too fast and too cheap. So maybe I need more time for.
Yeah, also, Prabhu was mentioning, Vaidyanath Prabhu was mentioning Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami also writes in the first verse of the Upadeshamrita, and Nectar of translated as Nectar of Instruction, that patience, perseverance, determination, and enthusiasm. So these three things, patience, enthusiasm, and determination, can never be given up. These are the things that you always have to have. So obviously you're young, so patience is probably not one of your greatest virtues, by mere dint of your age, not because, it just happens that way. When you're young, you have less patience. When you get older, you've seen so much that you just, okay, no big deal, I'll go through this. So you have to have patience. You can't achieve it overnight. Well, you may be a special case, but most of us have to persevere for a long time. And, it's like a salesperson. You go on selling vacuum cleaners door to door, and then you knock on a door, and you say, hi, next door. I have, you just go, and after the 10th door, somebody says, what is it? Oh, I have this wonderful vacuum cleaner. We already have one. Oh, thank you. Well, it's a little better. So, with salespeople, they actually think with reverse psychology. They try to. Like every no you get is one step closer to yes. You see. So, if you go through a lot of struggle, you should see that Krishna is actually putting special emphasis on your exercise, on your spiritual exercise. So your spiritual muscle grows bigger and bigger. So you have to be patient. And enthusiasm. Sometimes you will feel like chanting, and sometimes you won't feel like chanting. Unless you're some kind of Paramahamsa, some very advanced soul. So any of you, is everybody here? Do you regularly chant? Yes? Any hands? Do you regularly chant? All of you regularly chant. Okay. Has it ever happened to you that at a certain point in your life you don't feel like chanting? Yeah? Really? No? It never happened to you that at a certain point I don't feel like chanting. I'm going to chant, but I don't feel like chanting. Yes, of course. Yeah, of course it happens. But this enthusiasm will carry you through. You have to actually do it regardless. You have to be interested. It's like you have a baby, and I don't feel like feeding my baby today. I'm going to take a break. You really can't do that. Baby has to eat. So you already, made a commitment. It's a serious commitment. Now you have a baby, and you can't decide. Yeah, Thursday. I don't think so. I'm going to take Thursday off. He's going to start on Thursday. You can't do that. So when you make a commitment, I'm going to chant the holy name. I'm going to do it regularly. You can decide, I really don't feel like it. I don't feel like getting out of bed. I don't feel like offering my food. I don't feel like chanting the holy name. I just feel like just laying in bed and thinking about nothing. Which you can't do either, because the mind is always active. If you try to think of nothing, you already thought of thinking of nothing, so you're already thinking of something. So you can't think of nothing. So you have to actually preserve the enthusiasm and do it regardless. Because it's good for you, because pleasing Krishna is the only thing that's going to take you out of this misery. One thing I noticed, I don't know here because I haven't observed it, but when I grew up in Argentina, until I was a teenager, and when you see people on the street, when you meet people, when you go to a store, when you go anywhere, you look at people and people put a certain image they project a certain image of themselves. They smile, they try to look cool, or whatever they do. But if you go to a bus stop, when people are waiting for the bus and nobody's looking at them, that's when you see them. They're just spacing out, or miserable. Yeah, when you're waiting for the bus, that nobody's actually witnessing them or filming them or meeting with anybody. You can see them actually how they are. So most people are very miserable in this world because this is a world of misery. It is a world of misery. How did Thoreau say it? Was it Thoreau? The masses. If I could remember the quote, it's a fantastic quote by, I think it's Thoreau, maybe Emerson. It said, the quiet desperation of the masses. They live lives of quiet desperation. That's a quote. They live lives of quiet desperation. So everybody's living a life of quiet desperation. And sometimes you can get a glimpse of what it looks like. And we are somewhat forgetful because those who chant Hare Krishna, they have had the privilege of misery, the main misery, being uplifted from their heads. So they may not remember how bad it was before, but it is already a great relief. So you should be grateful. You should remember that before you took to chanting the holy name, you were just part of the misery circle. You're just walking with your head down, suffering. And Krishna has uplifted the misery. But as I often say, you may experience some dryness eventually. That taste that you got when you started chanting, it's not there somehow. Used to be so joyful, and now it's a little dry. But it's Krishna testing you. Krishna's actually, first he gives you the taste of his name. And then he takes away the taste, and to see if you want the taste or him. So if you choose the taste, then you may have trouble. But if you choose him, the taste will come back. Yeah.
So it means that if the taste is gone away, I have to continue chanting without the taste, and this is okay.
Ashrisya vada pradapinasumam. Whether you kick me, you embrace me, you neglect me, whatever you do with me, is fine. You are still my worshipable Lord. I love you no matter what. Yeah, like your kid. Now you have a little kid. And the kid is totally dependent on you, and he adores you, and he's cute, but wait until he turns 60 and decides not to talk to you and to steal money from your purse to buy stuff for himself. It's not like you're going to abandon him. So this is what happened. We go through this growth and go back and forth and play around. But Krishna never neglects us. He's very attentive. He's looking. He's always waiting for you to turn towards him. He's always waiting. He doesn't have any other business. It's not that Krishna has a day job and as a hobby he takes care of the living entities. And because he doesn't have that much time after his 8-hour day job, he can take care of everybody. So yeah, Krishna is very attentive. He's waiting for you, and don't worry about the taste. The point is to give pleasure to Krishna. That's how your pleasure comes. If you try to please yourself, it's not going to work. You have to please Krishna. If you please Krishna, you will be pleased. So don't worry about your own taste. And make sure that Krishna has taste. Like when you chant in front of the deities, chant for the pleasure of the deities. Don't try to hear how wonderful you are, how nice you sing. Oh, Krishna must be so pleased with me because I'm such a good musician or something like that. No, I hope this is pleasing to you, and then you will get the pleasure. Okay, this is my bell. The bells are calling for me. So, Jai Shri Jai. So I want to stop here. I want to thank the generosity of our hosts